Hello everyone and a very warm welcome to another lesson. In this lesson, we are going to learn about IELTS Writing Task 2. In this lesson, we are going to focus on an opinion essay. Remember, when it comes to writing task 2, the general students and the academic students get the same types of essays. You may be required to write an agree and disagree type of essay. You may be requested to write an advantages and disadvantages type of essay. It could be a course and solution type of essay, or it could be a discussion essay. Now, just to point out a few things about writing task 2 before we begin learning how to write the introduction. Usually you have 40 minutes to write your task 2. You should write over 250 words. You will not get marks for writing over 270 words. If you write words that are less than 250, you will be penalized. You will lose marks. The other thing that is very important to remember is that writing task 2 is worth about 66% of your total writing marks. The other thing is that you're marked on task response, coherence and cohesion, vocabulary, and grammar. Remember, writing task 2 is a formal essay. Okay, it is a formal essay. And the general training writing task 2 is the same as the academic writing task 2. The essay is written in the same way and the scoring is the same. The only difference is that the general training essay questions are often easier and the topics are simpler. All words will be counted, even small or repeated words. Now, let us get into our lesson. By the end of this lesson, I will teach you how to write the introduction. Okay, how to write the introduction. Your IELTS writing task 2 should be 4 paragraphs. You should write your introduction. After that, you should write 2 body paragraphs and then you write the conclusion. I repeat, your IELTS writing task 2 should have 4 paragraphs. Number 1, the introduction. Number 2, a body paragraph. Number 3, another body paragraph. And number 4, you have the conclusion. It is extremely important that you stick to that structure. Remember, you only have 40 minutes to read the question, analyze the question, plan your answer, write your answer, and cross-check your answer 5 minutes before the end of the exam. So it is very important that you master the structure. So how do you write the introduction? When it comes to the introduction, the examiner is marking your introduction based on 2 things. Number 1, the background statement, and number 2, the thesis statement. What are these? Now, as soon as you get your writing task 2 question, the first thing you need to do is read the question. In our case, the question is, it is in red, the most effective way to learn a language is to speak it every day. To what extent do you agree? So you have a statement and you're being asked, to what extent do you agree? In the question, it is suggested that the most effective way to learn a language is to speak it every day. Now, do you agree with this statement entirely, or do you agree with part of it? That is the question. To what extent do you agree? So you have to make it very clear whether you agree completely with the statement or whether you have a new solution. If you agree with the statement completely, then it means that in your opinion, the most effective way to learn a language is to speak it every day. Now, if you don't agree completely with that statement, do you have another suggestion? Do you have another idea that you think is also very effective when it comes to learning a language? All those answers should be in your introduction. So, like I pointed out earlier on, when the examiner is marking your introduction, the first thing they're looking for is the background statement. Now, how do you write the background statement? It is very simple to write because all you have to do is paraphrase IELTS statement. And the statement that IELTS has given us here is the most effective way to learn a language is to speak it every day. So we need to rewrite that statement in your own words, but you have to retain the meaning. So the meaning has to be exactly the same as the statement that is provided to you by IELTS. But you need to use your own words. Now, you can change the form of some words. Okay, I will explain further how to do that. So let us begin now writing the background statement. And all we have to do is paraphrase the statement that is provided to us by IELTS. Let us begin. So instead of writing the most, I have written the best. I have replaced the word most with best. I have just found a synonym for that word most, and in this case it is best. The next word is effective. Effective. The most effective way. So I have replaced that with the best method. The most effective way. The best method. Now, those two phrases mean exactly the same, but I have used different words which have the same meaning. Instead of saying the most effective way, I have said the best method. And then we have to learn a language. To learn a language. I have replaced that with to master a language. Now, some words in the background statement do not change because in this case we are talking about a language. So you can't replace that with anything else. Okay? So the best method, the most effective way to learn a language, to master a language. And then we have is to speak it every day. I have is by speaking it on daily basis. Those two phrases mean exactly the same. Is to speak it every day is by speaking it on daily basis. So I have changed the form of the word speak to speaking. Okay? So you are allowed to change the form of some words. In this case, speak becomes speaking. And every day becomes on daily basis. So I have replaced every day with on daily basis. You can also say daily, okay? By speaking it daily. That is also absolutely correct, okay? So what I have done there is, in my background statement, I have simply paraphrased the statement that is provided to me by IELTS. I have used my own words to rewrite that statement, but I have ensured that the meaning is exactly the same. And in some cases, I have changed the words with word synonyms, but in some cases, I have simply changed the form of some words. Like, for example, instead of saying speak, I wrote speaking. So that is the very first thing that the examiner is going to mark when it comes to your writing task 2, the background statement. And remember, it's very simple to write. All you have to do is paraphrase IELTS statement. Ensure that you retain the meaning. Now, after you have written and you notice that the background statement is just one sentence, it should not be more than that, just one sentence. The same way, IELTS statement is just one sentence, so it should be just one sentence. And then you move on to the thesis statement. Your introductory paragraph should also have a thesis statement. Now, what is this? Your thesis statement is your answer to IELTS question, because the question that IELTS asks you is, to what extent do you agree? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Or are you partial, meaning that you're 50-50. You agree and disagree. In your thesis statement, IELTS expects you to answer the question they've asked you. To what extent do you agree? So, in your thesis statement, you're supposed to introduce your opinion to the question. The question is, to what extent do you agree? So, introduce your opinion, introduce your ideas. Tell IELTS whether you agree with the statement or you don't. Okay? Now, let us see how you actually do that in writing. In my opinion, now, that phrase that I've used there points directly to the answer. It makes it very clear to the examiner that you are just about to state your opinion on the statement. In my opinion, I agree that speaking a language daily is the key to learning it, okay? In my opinion, I agree that speaking a language daily is the key to learning it. So you are paraphrasing the statement that IELTS has provided you, okay? In my opinion, I agree that speaking a language daily is the key to learning it. And then after that, I have introduced another idea, because in my opinion, I believe that yes, speaking a language daily is the key to learning it, but I do also believe that grammar is equally important. So in that thesis statement, I have expressed my opinion. I have made it very clear what I think about the statement that IELTS has provided me with. I have pointed out very clearly that I agree with the statement to a certain extent, but I do also have another idea that I think is equally important when it comes to learning a language, and that is grammar. So in that thesis statement, I have introduced my opinion, But I've also introduced my ideas. My ideas are, yes, speaking a language daily is going to really help you when you're learning a language, but I also believe that grammar is equally important. So my ideas are speaking and grammar. So that is what you should do in your thesis statement. In your thesis statement, always begin it with, in my opinion, I agree, or maybe you think I disagree completely. So in that case, then you can say, in my opinion, I absolutely disagree that speaking a language daily is the key to learning it. Instead, I am of the opinion that to learn a language, one has to have a very good foundation in grammar. For example, you can write that. So you're allowed to completely disagree with a statement. In that case, then, like I said, you can point out, you can say, in my opinion, I totally disagree with a statement that speaking a language daily is the key to learning it. In my view, I believe that grammar is the foundation to learning a new language. All right? Either way, in your thesis statement, you must clarify, you must make your opinion very clear. What it is, whether you agree, whether you disagree, or whether you are partial. Okay? Now, that is how you write your introduction. So your introduction should have 2 sentences. One sentence for the background statement and another sentence for the thesis statement. One sentence for the background statement and another sentence for your thesis statement. If you wish, you can have 2 sentences in your thesis statement. For example, I can split my thesis statement into 2 sentences. Then in that case, I would write, in my opinion, I agree that speaking a language daily is the key to learning it. Full stop. I do also believe that grammar is equally important. So in that case, then, I have 2 sentences. In my opinion, I agree that speaking a language daily is the key to learning it. Full stop. I do also believe that grammar is equally important. Full stop. Then I have 2 sentences. But remember, your background statement should be 1 sentence and your thesis statement should be 1 to 2 sentences, not more. And your whole introduction should be between around 30 words, 35 words, okay? Not longer than 35 words, because remember, you still have to write 3 more paragraphs, okay? So your introduction, I would say, okay, you can have 35 to 50 words if you're pushing it, but it should not be longer than that. As long as you have your background statement and your thesis statement, that's all that you need, because that's what the examiner is marking in your introduction, okay? Now this brings me to the last section of our lesson, where I'm just going to remind you a few tips to ensure that you write your introduction correctly. Remember, when it comes to your introduction, the examiner is looking for the background statement. It should be 1 sentence. Paraphrase the words that the statement that IELTS has provided you with. Use your own words, but retain the meaning, okay? And remember, in some cases, some words will remain the same, like a language. You can't replace that with anything else. But you can change the form of some words. Like, for example, in IELTS statement, they have the word speak. In my case, I used speaking. Then, remember, you also need to write your thesis statement. It needs to be 1 or 2 sentences. In your thesis statement, that's where you express your personal opinion on the statement that IELTS has provided you with and the question, which is, to what extent do you agree? Remember to begin your thesis statement with words such as in my opinion, in my view, I am of the opinion that, okay, I totally agree that, okay. Those kind of words are very important because they signal to the examiner that you're about to express your personal opinion on the question that they have asked you, okay. And finally, remember that when it comes to your introduction, it should be a total of 35 words. If you write maximum, it should be 50. But I have no idea what you will be writing there because all that the examiner wants in your introduction is your background statement and your thesis statement. Nothing more. Okay? Now, at the end of your test, it is very important that you spare 5 minutes to cross-check your answers and ensure that you correct any mistakes, grammatical mistakes, punctuation mistakes, and so on. So this brings me to the end of this lesson. In the next lesson, I'm going to teach you how to write the body paragraphs, because remember I pointed out at the beginning that your writing task 2 should have 4 paragraphs: the introduction, body paragraph 1, body paragraph 2, and the conclusion. So in the next lesson, I'm going to teach you how to write the rest of the body paragraph. Okay? Now, if you found this lesson helpful, then please subscribe to the channel, give this video a thumbs up, give it a like, and share this video on all your social media platforms. And remember to turn on your notification button because I will be uploading more videos about this opinion essay. Okay? Now, thank you very much and see you in our next lesson. Bye-bye.